In this video, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of one of my best trades for the week on US30. And in this video, you're going to learn how I made this $1,700 profit by understanding what I saw that made me enter the trade, how I monitored the trade, and then also what I saw that made me exit the trade to close out for $1,700. And I also made another trade on US30 earlier this week for about a $1,300 profit. But basically, all of this is going to serve as inspiration for you on your own day trading journey. And of course, none of this is financial advice. And if you don't know who I am, my name is LaKiesha Tomlin. I'm a former engineering manager turned investor day trader, and now I show people how to day trade. And in this video, we're also going to cover a whole bunch of other things. I'm going to be also putting more content like this on this channel, so go ahead and subscribe now. Definitely like the video, leave a comment on some of the things that you want to see in the future, and I'll take all of that into consideration because I love reading your suggestions. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the description box below because you'll learn how I made 6 figures in 6 months. At this moment, it's a free download, so go ahead and check that out where I talk about the things that I needed to know step by step, and that way it can serve as inspiration for your own journey. Now, let's get into the charts. So we're gonna go over to my computer so that way I can show you how I captured this trade. All right, so let's jump right into it. So move myself out the way. All right, so as usual, a lot of my analysis starts on the daily. Mostly it starts on a weekly, but for this particular day, I started on a daily. And the one thing that I noticed, actually, let me zoom in here really quick. All right, so I got my volume and my RSI down here. I didn't really use that too much, but let's just get rid of that. But anyway, I noticed that, let's see, if we go back, this was on the 22nd. On the 21st, I noticed that there was a lot of bullish momentum pretty much in the market, but at the same time, it was also heading towards this resistance area. Now, I've marked off these levels probably weeks ago, and I do adjust them every now and then, but basically I noticed that there was a lot of bullish momentum here, but it was also at this level. So I was thinking that there was a possibility that the price may continue to push up, or it may stall out and then fall. So the second was correct. So let's zoom into the 4 hour. So we can see a bit more detail here on the 4 hour chart. We can see that the price definitely was pushing up, and I did have a position earlier this week, made some money on that, so that was awesome. Wish I would have held it, but whatever. So I was happy with the profit. But on this day, the 22nd, I noticed that there was a lot of consolidation here right at the top of this range. So when I saw this huge rejection, and let's zoom in so you can see it. When I saw this rejection right here, let me draw on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me just use white. So this rejection candle right here, when I saw that, I knew that it would possibly fall down. And I wanted more confirmation, but the way the market was moving, I figured that if I entered the market at this point, it would be kind of an aggressive move. And fortunately, it paid off in this situation because sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, after this candle closed, I was looking for entry opportunities. So then I was just going through multiple time frames, just trying to find the best entry. So I went to like the 2 hour, and then I kind of went around to the 30-minute. And the 30-minute was looking good, but I was trying to see if I can get a better entry. And basically I went down to the 15-minute and found a really good entry. I entered pretty much on this bearish engulfing candle when it closed. I knew that with all the bullish momentum in the market that there was a possibility that it could go back up, but I was feeling really good about this basically because everything else lined up. We had the rejection on a higher time frame, and then also price was starting to fall really quickly with this bullish engulfing candle. So I placed my entry around 32,064, and then what I did is I went down to the 4 minute chart. Let me just clean this up a little bit. I went down to the, after the engulfing, I went down to this chart and just kind of monitored it. So I had 175 pip stop loss, and that is a really big stop loss. But for me, I felt really comfortable because I definitely wanted to make sure that I had my stop above this level here, mainly because, you know, just in case if it did go above that, then I knew that, okay, the trend is definitely reversing and I need to get out of the trade. So I was okay with risking that amount of money, and I believe for this particular trade I risked probably around $500. So, and I thought that it was totally fine, mainly because my risk to reward ratio is about a 2. So I was looking to gain about $1,000 with this trade, and I definitely did. So anyway, so basically I just spent time just going back and just monitoring it, and then I was moving my stops as the price kept falling, mainly because I'm really working on my trader psychology these days in terms of not looking at the market like every single second, and then also trailing my stop losses, because for me, I mean, it depends on what type of trader you are, but for me, there have been times where I was in profit quite a bit, and then it comes up and then it ends up stopping me out, and I really didn't want that to happen. So I was just trailing my stop losses, and if it got to the point where the market would go back up, then I could just enter the market again. But at least for me, I have some profits. Now, everybody trades differently. And that's totally okay. Your style is your style. This just happens to be mine. So I kept trailing my stop loss, and then basically I got out of this around here. It wasn't exactly at the bottom, but it was really close. And if we zoom in on this, we will see that that is approximately, it's like 1.7 whatever, but it was still a really good risk to reward ratio. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, I did enter another position here around this 31,957 level, mainly just because I saw that this rejection here, and it was pretty much maintaining sells, or there were a lot of sellers in the market. So I was like, okay, I could put in another position here, and that made me about $500, and I believe the position here was a little bit smaller. I want to say it was probably around $300 to $400, but the risk to reward was about a 3. So say if it's 400, I was looking to gain about 12. In this case, since I exited both positions around here, the first position was 1100 roughly, and the second was almost 600. And as you can see on this challenge account, it's saying that the profit is 1100. I was in a little bit of drawdown on this account, but these two trades definitely made up for it. And as you can see on my MetaTrader chart right here, you can see when I entered, and I like to switch to the line chart just because it's a lot easier to see at times. So I will flip back and forth between the line and the candles, and with all these wicks, sometimes it could be really confusing. So the line chart definitely helps me. So that's what I did here, and I was actually monitoring this on the 4-minute chart when I was at my computer, and I can look at TradingView. But when I was on my phone, I was looking at the 5-minute chart. Let me go back. The 5-minute chart, let me make this a little bit wider. The 5-minute, and then I was also looking at it on the 1-minute. And the thing for me that was kind of the clue to get out of the market was this right here. So let me draw it just so that way you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was this right here. I saw this go up, it went down here. So obviously this is the very bottom, and I saw, ooh, that was ugly. I saw this forming up right here. Basically, it was very symmetrical, and I was waiting for price to break this point here, and it didn't. So I stayed in the trade, but I was like, okay, if it breaks this, I'm getting out. And as you can see, it pretty much lines up right here. But the fact that this was looking quite symmetrical here with this, it reminded me of an inverse head and shoulders. and I just wasn't really feeling all that comfortable with staying in a position, and I got out here, and I am so glad that I did, because if we go and look back at TradingView, let's just go to the 1 minute chart on TradingView, fix up the chart a bit, so we can see at this point, about where I got out, the trend did continue to move up eventually. And if I would have stayed in that position, then essentially I would have given up so much of my profit. Like, instead of getting the almost 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio I got, it would have been more of like a 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is still good, but I was definitely aiming for that 2. And then for this position, it would have been, let's see, I was aiming for a 3. It would have been, pretty much a half. So pretty much this is the breakdown for the trade, the best trade that I took last week on US30. I've only been trading US30 for about a couple of weeks, but so far I'm really liking what I'm seeing as far as being able to read the price action. And as usual, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more day trading content. And if you have some ideas on what sort of things you would like to see in terms of day trading, go ahead and leave a comment below. And I like to read the comments and see what people are kind of thinking, and you may see that type of content pop up on this channel. So if you didn't know, I'm also on TikTok, and I do post quite a bit of content on there. Not every single day, but almost daily. And people do leave me comments, and then I make content based on their comments as well. So just a lot of opportunities to see the type of content that you want. You just gotta let me know. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.